What actually happens to your body in the first 30 days after starting injections like Ozempic? Not just weight loss, but your hunger signals, your blood sugar, your hormones, even your brain chemistry. In this video, we're breaking it down week by week, based on what science shows really happens inside your body during that first month. We're going to walk step by step through week 1, where appetite and digestion begin to change. Week 2, where blood sugar control starts shifting. Week 3, when hormonal adaptation becomes more noticeable. And week 4, where early fat loss mechanisms begin showing measurable effects. And then we'll cover what most people don't expect in that first month, including the changes that happen before the scale even moves. Before we get into the timeline, we need to understand what this medication actually is and how it works. Ozempic contains a molecule called semaglutide. Semaglutide belongs to a class of medications known as GLP-1 receptor agonists. That means it mimics a natural hormone in your body called GLP-1, which stands for glucagon-like peptide-1. GLP-1 is normally released from your intestines after you eat. It plays several powerful roles. It signals fullness to your brain. It slows down how quickly your stomach empties food into your intestines. And it stimulates insulin release, but only when blood sugar levels are elevated. That last part is important. It doesn't constantly force insulin production. It enhances insulin release only when glucose rises. At the same time, it suppresses glucagon, which is a hormone that raises blood sugar after meals. So instead of acting like a stimulant or a fat burner, this medication changes your internal signaling system. It changes how your gut talks to your brain. It changes how your pancreas responds to food. And it gradually alters how your body regulates hunger and blood sugar. Now let's walk through what happens week by week. In week 1, the most noticeable change for many people is appetite. Some people feel it within days. Others notice it closer to the end of the first week. But for many, hunger starts to feel different. Meals that once felt normal suddenly feel too large. You may feel full earlier than usual. You might stop eating halfway through a portion that previously felt satisfying. That's because GLP-1 receptors in your brain's appetite centers are being activated. These centers, particularly in the hypothalamus, regulate hunger and satiety. At the same time, your stomach begins emptying more slowly. Food stays in your stomach longer. That slower gastric emptying contributes to prolonged fullness after meals. Instead of sharp hunger returning quickly, fullness lingers. Because digestion is slowing, some people experience nausea in this first week. Mild digestive discomfort, bloating, or a feeling of heaviness can occur. This isn't because something is wrong. It's because your gut is adapting to a new pace of digestion. For most people, these symptoms are temporary and improve as the body adjusts. You might also notice something subtle but powerful: reduced food noise. That constant background thinking about snacks, cravings, or the next meal may quiet down slightly. It's not dramatic for everyone in week 1, but it often begins here. Moving into week 2, changes in blood sugar regulation become more measurable, especially in people with type 2 diabetes or insulin resistance. GLP-1 medications enhance glucose-dependent insulin secretion. That means when you eat and your blood sugar rises, your pancreas releases insulin more effectively. At the same time, glucagon secretion is suppressed after meals. The combined effect is smoother blood sugar curves. Instead of sharp spikes and crashes, glucose levels may rise more gently and fall more steadily. Fasting blood sugar levels may begin improving. Post-meal spikes may become less dramatic. It's important to understand that semaglutide has a long half-life, around 7 days. That's why it's injected weekly. But it also means it gradually builds up in your system over several weeks. By weeks 4 to 5, blood levels reach a steady state. So even though improvements start in week 2, they continue strengthening over time. By week 3, something interesting happens. Your body begins adapting more fully to these new hormonal signals. Appetite suppression often becomes more consistent rather than fluctuating. This is where many people describe a deeper shift. Eating smaller portions no longer feels forced. It feels normal. The drive to overeat weakens. Cravings may still appear, but they often feel less intense and easier to manage. The hypothalamus continues receiving satiety signals. Meanwhile, slow digestion alters other gut peptides that influence hunger. Together, these mechanisms create a more stable appetite pattern. Energy levels may also begin stabilizing. Because blood sugar spikes are reduced, energy crashes may feel less dramatic. However, some people feel slightly fatigued as calorie intake drops. That's why hydration and adequate protein intake are important during this phase. The body is adjusting to lower energy intake, and supporting muscle mass becomes essential. Now we reach week 4, the point where early fat loss mechanisms begin showing measurable results. GLP-1 medications do not directly burn fat like stimulants. They do not increase metabolism dramatically. Instead, weight loss happens primarily because calorie intake decreases and hormonal balance improves. When insulin levels are more stable and calorie intake is lower, the body gradually shifts toward using stored energy. Fat cells begin shrinking slowly. This is usually modest in the first month. Clinical observations show that in the first 4 weeks, average weight loss may range around 1 to 2% of total body weight. Some people lose more, some lose less, but dramatic transformations are uncommon in just 30 days. And this is important. Hunger changes often happen before visible weight changes. Blood sugar improvements may occur before the scale moves. Internally, the metabolic environment is shifting, even if external results lag behind. Now let's talk about what most people don't expect after 30 days. First, many are surprised that appetite reduction can feel stronger than weight loss progress. The internal shift often feels bigger than the visible one. Second, blood sugar improvements may be measurable before significant fat loss occurs. That metabolic stabilization is one of the core therapeutic goals. Third, mild nausea or fullness may persist longer than expected. For some, dose adjustments are necessary. That's why medical supervision matters. Fourth, appetite can return if doses are missed. Because the medication has a long half-life, effects fade gradually, not instantly. But hunger signals can strengthen again if injections are stopped. It's also important to remember that this is not a permanent metabolic reset in 30 days. It's the beginning of a longer adaptation process. The first month is about signal rewiring, adjusting the gut-brain axis and stabilizing glucose regulation. Sustained fat loss and deeper metabolic benefits typically occur over several months. Clinical trials evaluating semaglutide have shown more substantial weight reduction over 3 to 12 months, not just 4 weeks. So if you're evaluating progress after 30 days, think beyond the scale. Ask, has my hunger changed? Are my cravings different? Is my blood sugar more stable? Am I eating smaller portions naturally? Those early shifts are foundational. In the first 30 days on Ozempic or similar GLP-1 medications, what's happening isn't magic. It's physiology. It's your gut communicating differently with your brain. It's your pancreas responding more precisely to glucose. It's your hormonal signals recalibrating. And that recalibration takes time. If you're considering this treatment, talk with a healthcare provider to understand dosing schedules, potential side effects, and long-term expectations. Individual responses vary. Medical supervision ensures safety and optimization. The first month is just the beginning. It's the phase where signals shift, habits start adapting, and metabolic stability begins forming. What happens next depends on consistency, dosage adjustments, nutrition, activity, and long-term adherence. If you found this breakdown helpful and want more evidence-based deep dives into GLP-1 science, metabolism, and real-world timelines, subscribe for future videos.